Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, MaShaYaCh, MaShaYaCh, double honors to the apostle, elders, great most, never well, peace, blessed to elect to Israel. Shalom and above all. Back at it with us through the spirit of power, MaShaYaCh, Lord willing, this video is edifying. All right. Yahweh be named Heavenly Father, meaning He is, He exists, He to be. Ba'in, Ha-the, Sham name, YahWeh be named only begotten Son, meaning He deliver, He saves, Rachak Holy Spirit. Okay, and I want to get into it through the Spirit. Pretty much, it's a topic that might come up often if you're in the faith, because this is stuff that you have to deal with, and sometimes for certain brothers on a day-to-day basis. But the world is gonna hate you, man. If you were of the world would love His own, man. But the fact that Yahweh MaShaYaCh has pulled us out of this world, and that the Lord has made us separate from the ways of this world, they're going to look at us like we're strange and like we're crazy, But that's the way it's supposed to be. According to the scriptures say, woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers instead of false prophets. Now, of course, you're going to have some people that, say you might be, of course, you're going to have some people that say, oh, you're a good person, or, you seem like a good guy, or or something of that nature. Okay, because the scriptures speak about how our conversation is supposed to be honest amongst the Gentiles, man, and some people can recognize the Spirit of the Lord upon us, Lord willing, we be a part of that elect number, and they'll acknowledge it, and that's why Yahweh said, let your light shine before men and give glory to your Father which is in heaven. So sometimes that does happen, call him MaShaYaCh. But sometimes you will have people who acknowledge the Spirit of the Lord upon you, but instead of, being drawn towards it or, reverencing Yahweh MaShaYaCh dealing with you, they'll actually abhor it, or they'll despise it, or they'll be mad and they'll hate you, because that's just evident token of their wickedness, man. An evident sign of how wicked they are, man. That they hate that light that's shining within you, because they love darkness, man. Scriptures speak about how men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil, man. So you got people out there who hate righteousness, man. And sometimes you're gonna run into them. Some brothers run into them more often than others, but it will happen, man. So don't be surprised if somebody's mad at you, or somebody just randomly doesn't like you. You didn't do nothing to them. They just randomly don't like you. It's really just because they don't like YahWeh, man. And they see YahWeh's spirit within you. So instead of, being drawn towards that, they repel against it, because they're not of YahWeh, man. They're wicked. This is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 1. For as much then as MaShaYaCh has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that hath suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin. And that's what we do too, When we go through the sufferings and the afflictions in this truth, having discipline and restraint, our flesh suffers, but our spirit is flourishing. Just like how YahWeh went through suffering, now we got to go through suffering too, that we may be joint heirs. Verse 2, it says that he no longer should live the rest of his life. It's like that he should no longer live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Yahweh MaShaYaCh. That's right. We can't live according to the lust of the flesh, and of the world. We have to live according to the will and the pleasure of Yahweh MaShaYaCh and what the Lord sees fit. Verse 3, it says, for the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles, when ye walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatry. So pretty much when we were that old man, back when we were in the world, the past time of our life, we walked in the will of the Gentiles. We walked in the way of the heathen. Excess of lust, drinking, partying, abominable idolatry, serving idol God, so on and so forth, man. And not that, having a party is going off, depending on the context that you're having it, but, revelings and banquetings, you see a lot of that has to do with that Bacchus spirit, man. That party spirit, that Bacchus spirit, that's what the Gentiles used to do, okay? And, you know the difference between when you go to a party in the truth and when you go to a party in the world, man. You know, you definitely know the difference. Okay? But the point being what? Wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you, man. Right. Okay, so here it is. And I've actually had somebody say that to me before. You know, someone who I used to know back in the world. And the crazy part is, she was Sodom. You know, it was a woman, but she was a female version of a sodomite, if you can receive what I'm trying to say, trying to be wise, because, you know, Esau be on the algorithms. All right. But she had the audacity to message me over social media, because this is back when I used to, you know, post things of the truth on social media. I don't do that anymore, but, you know, anyways, she like DM me saying how I'm strange, you know, like all the stuff that I'm saying and stuff like that. I'm acting strange. She literally used the word strange. She's like, it's strange, you know. But YaHaWaShai was known to be strange, man. Scripture speak about the strangeness of our salvation, you know. So the Wadi MaShaYaCh. I've also had other people come up to me, be mad because I've made posts about Christmas and how Christmas is going off, and they're like, it's Christmas, da 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 da. But you see, that's just the token of their wickedness, man. And actually, one of the Eves that used to scoff at me, she ended up getting put to death, man. You know, like a year or two later, if I'm not mistaken. She got put to death because her sister was in like a domestic violence case where her boyfriend and the dude ended up shooting her sister, shot her, and then I think he ended up killing himself too, you know, when he was fleeing from the cops, if I remember correctly, man. You know, so this and that's like what Moses said, you know, who is Aaron that you should murmur against him? You know, you're not murmuring or you're not talking or scoffing against the men of the Lord. You're scoffing against YaHaWaShai, because that's all we're doing is speaking his words and pushing forth his truth. We're not speaking our own words. So for you to come up against that is really you just coming up against the Lord, and that's why it gets shut down every time. But I've actually had people, all right, call me strange, man. And you know what? The Wadi MaShaYaCh for that. Okay? Because, hey, at the end of the day, you know, that just goes to show you that the scriptures are true. Read that again. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 4. It says, wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you, man. Right. So they thinking you're weird because you don't want to follow after the worldly ways anymore. So they want to talk smack about you. But what YaHaWaShai say? Woe unto you, and all men shall speak well of you, man. For so did their fathers to the false prophets, man. That's Luke 6:26. All right. So that's the point right there. You're going to have people who come up against you in this truth and, you know, are going to hate you or not going to like you. But like the scriptures say, it's an evident token of their perdition and a you of salvation, roughly paraphrasing, man. And what else did Moses say? Moses told the congregation, I think Dathan, Korah, Abiram, you know, basically he said, look, if I be of myself, you know, if I'm speaking of myself, then these men are going to go through a natural cause, so to speak. But he said, but if I be sent to the Lord, let a new thing be created and let the earth swallow up these men. And what did the Most High do shortly after that? He opened up the earth and they fell through a sinkhole, man. And the earth closed back up again. Okay? And they died. They got destroyed. And that was an evident token that the Lord was dealing with Moses, man. Also, when the rod budded with almonds, that was an evident token that the Lord was dealing with, you know, the Levites to be the priests. Because Jake wanted to be proud and be like, oh, we're all holy. We're all Israel, you know. But the Lord separated Levi to be the priests. Now, through the spirit of YaHaWaShai, you know, we're all made priests after the order of Melchizedek. But it was appointed at a time where the Levites were the priests, man, over the nation of Israel. And anyone who tried to intervene with that really was intervening with the will of YaHaWaShai. You also had another king in Israel. He had got lifted up in his heart and got proud, and he wanted to offer up incense, but the Lord withstood him with like 80 Levites. You know, 80 Levites pulled up on him and was like, yo, you're not supposed to be doing that. What are you doing? You know, it's not meant for you to burn incense, but it's meant for the Levites to burn incense to the Lord, you know, on the offerings and stuff like that. And he was being proud, and he did it anyways. And what happened to him? He ended up catching leprosy right on his forehead, man. And then, you know, once that happened, they were about to thrust him out the temple, but he himself thrusted himself out the temple because he was ashamed. He was like, oh shit, Lord, judge my ass. So he himself ran out the temple, man, while the Levites was trying to get him up out of there, man. So that's how you know, if this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of MaShaYaCh, you cannot overthrow it, man. So pretty much the point being what? That, you know, for you to come up against the men of the Lord willing, we beat those men, you're really coming against MaShaYaCh, man. You know, that's why it's important to understand who you're dealing with, man. You know, and I'm talking about the brethren. You know, when you're around brothers, you treat brothers with respect. You watch what you say. You watch what you think about brothers, because MaShaYaCh, he has all that into account, man. And the Lord can and will judge you if you come up against his men the wrong way, man. And I say the wrong way because, you know, you might have a question towards a brother, or you might not understand what a brother's saying, so you might rebuttal or go back and forth with a brother, you know, because you don't have understanding. But if you come up in a prideful manner, you come up like you want to do harm or anything of that nature, man, you know, the Lord gonna shut it down, man. You know, and my advice to any member of the flock out there, if a brother does say something to you and it kind of shakes up your spirit, and, you know, you're not necessarily fully persuaded on it, don't scoff. You know, don't try to be proud or mock or nothing like that, because that could be the Lord trying to tell you something through that brother, but you can't see it at that moment. So instead of, you know, you scoffing, oh, that brother don't know what he talking about, just because you don't understand, just hold your peace. You know, scripture say even a fool is accounted wise when he holdeth his peace, man. Scriptures also say, if thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth. So if you don't have true understanding on the situation, don't speak on it, man. Scripture say, examine first, then rebuke. He that answereth the matter before he heareth it, it is a folly and a shame unto him. So imagine you quick to say something, but you was wrong. You're gonna feel stupid, man. And you could possibly get judged depending on depending on if you offend that brother, man. You know, and meanwhile that brother was on point and you was over here talking shit. So if you have a problem with understanding something a brother told you, and you can't necessarily receive it, just hold your peace. Pray to the Lord to give you the understanding heart to receive it. Pray to the Lord not to harden your heart, you know. But don't scoff, man, because you can get judged. All right, you know, you can get judged, man. All right, but anyways, this is Philippians 1:28. It says, and in nothing terrified by your adversaries, which is to them an evident token of perdition, but to you of salvation, and that of MaShaYaCh. So don't be terrified about these people in the world who hate you, man, because of righteousness' sake, because that's just an evident sign that they're going to be destroyed, man. And that's an evident sign that the Lord is dealing with you. What does it say in Matthew the 5th chapter? Let's get that real quick, Lord willing, if MaShaYaCh permits. Matthew chapter 5 goes into that. All right. Matthew chapter 5, starting at verse 10, it says, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Right. So pretty much, you know, if somebody's hating on you for righteousness' sake, somebody's hating on you because of the truth, then hey, more than likely, brother, you have the elect, you know, as long as you endure. Okay? So hey, rejoice and be exceeding glad, as MaShaYaCh said, man. You know? And this is a part of our walk. Just like how MaShaYaCh was hated, he went through hate and scoffers, persecution. Guess what? We're gonna go through it too. MaShaYaCh said it. If the servant is not above his master, man. You know? If they have persecuted the master of the house, how much more them of his household? If they have called him Beelzebub, which is another word for Satan. Here it is, they call MaShaYaCh Satan. They said MaShaYaCh had a demon on him. They said MaShaYaCh had an unclean spirit on him. when he was doing all those miracles. You know, what the Jews said, oh, did we not say rightly that thou hast a devil? Roughly paraphrasing. Yahushua said, I have not a devil. You know, Yahushua was like, shit. If I'm casting out demons by Beelzebub, then who do your judges cast them out by? You know. So pretty much they said the same thing about Yahushua. So guess what? They're getting ready to say all types of manner of evil against the men of the Lord. All right, in these times now, when the persecution really starts to hit, because men of the Lord have been persecuted. You know, we've got brothers who've gone through persecution. Some brothers lost jobs. Some brothers have been thrown in jail, so on and so forth, for the sake of the ministry. But the time's going to come where they're going to try to persecute the men of the Lord even harder, man. You know, to the point where they even want to put them to death, just like they did in the past. But guess what? Those who rise up against the men of MaShaYaCh, they're going to fail. They're going to fail, man. They're going to be destroyed, you know. And at the end of the day, this is a part of our walk. This is a part of the narrow and straight gate. You know, but you want to be rooted in this thing. You don't want to be that seed sown amongst the rocks where you sprung up quickly. You know, you received the word with joy. But once you caught hell, then you wanted to fall out. You didn't want to be a part of this thing anymore because you were offended at the fact that you caught hell. Nah, you got to be willing to go through this, man. You have to be willing to be hated in this truth for righteousness' sake, man. Just like our forefathers were, you know. This truth is not about a popularity contest, man. You know, it's about pushing forth the standard of MaShaYaCh. So there's going to be some people who don't like you, man, and you got to just learn to accept that. All right, 1 John 3:1, it says, behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore the world knoweth us not, because it knew him not. Right, so just like how the world don't know MaShaYaCh, the world is not going to acknowledge the men of MaShaYaCh, man. You know, and it says, 1 John 4:4, it says, ye are of the Most High, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Right, so the fact that we have MaShaYaCh's spirit within us, that makes us greater than someone who has the spirit of Satan within them, man, and the worldly spirit within them, man. Okay, it says, they are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world heareth them. Right. All right, so pretty much if you're of the world will love you, you know, because like True say, the world will love his own, right? So if you're of the world, people in the world, they're going to hear you. They're going to hear when you speak. They're going to acknowledge you. They're going to agree with most of the stuff that you say, right? But let a man of the Lord speak to them. They're going to be like, oh, he tripping. Oh, here he go again with this Bible stuff. Yeah, that's why Yahushua said, he that heareth you, heareth me. You know, he that heareth not you, heareth not me. He that despises you, despises me. He that despises me, despises him that sent me, man. Okay? 1 John 4:6 says, we are of MaShaYaCh. He that knoweth MaShaYaCh heareth us. He that is not of MaShaYaCh heareth not us. Hereby know we the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of MaShaYaCh, and everyone that loveth is born of MaShaYaCh, and knoweth MaShaYaCh. That's right, and that love is talking about the love according to the scriptures, not according to the worldly definition of love. Scriptures say, love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is the keeping of the law, roughly paraphrasing. All right, if you love me, keep my commandments. 1 John 5:3, here is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. So that love is according to the love of the scriptures, man. It says, he that loveth not, knoweth not the Most High, for MaShaYaCh is love. That's right, okay? And does not the scripture say how he that saith, I know the Most High and keep his commandments is a liar and the truth is not in him? So if you're not keeping the ways of the Lord, you're not keeping the scriptures, which is true love, which is that true light, then you're a liar. Isaiah 8:20, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to these words, it is because there is no light in them, man. So if you're not speaking according to the scriptures, you're going to have light within you, man. You're full of darkness. John 15:18, it says, if the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye are of the world will love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. All right? Yeah. Men love darkness rather than light. That goes back to John the 3rd chapter, around verse 19. All right? John 15:20, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. Right? Because if they, like what Peter or one of the disciples said it, I believe it was Peter, if I'm not mistaken. But one of the disciples said it in the book of Acts, you know, pretty much if they knew that YaHaWaShai was the Prince of salvation and you know, and the Savior, they would have never crucified him, man. Same thing with his men. If they knew that his men were of YaHaWaShai's righteousness, they would have never persecuted them, man. You know? But they don't know YaHaWaShai, so that's why they persecute these men. You know, and they think that they're doing the Most High's service. They think that they think the Most High is actually with them, you know, when they come up against his men. But the Lord isn't, you know? Matter of fact, let me get this precept real quick because it's in my spirit. I believe it's in the book of Isaiah. Salakia. Isaiah 66:5, it says, hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word. Right, so this is for those who tremble at his words, those who fear YaHaWaShai in his words. It says, your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified. Right, they thinking the Lord is on their side. They thinking that the Lord dealing, and you know, and that they're really doing the work of the Lord. Right, it says, but he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. Right, going back to Philippians 1:28, man. You know, so that's the point on that right there. Okay, what did YaHaWaShai say in John 16? The time cometh where he that killeth you thinketh that he doeth the Most High a service. You know, and an example of that was the Apostle Paul. Apostle Paul was persecuting the church, and he thought that he was doing the right thing, but the Apostle Paul said that he persecuted the church in his ignorance, man. You know, according to his zeal, roughly paraphrasing. You know, but the Lord had mercy on the Apostle Paul. So you're gonna have certain people that come up against the doctrine, and they're gonna end up turning into a believer. The scriptures speak about convincing the gainsayers. You know, and the church, well, they were leery about the Apostle Paul at first, man. They were like, I heard this guy persecuted the church. Like, what you mean, Lord? What, you want me to heal him? You know, was that one? The Lord came to that one member of the church. I'm not sure his name. I forgot his name, but basically, he told him to heal the Apostle Paul and give him back his eyesight. You know, with that spiritual power, and he was like, Lord, this guy persecuted the church. Like, I've heard many evil report about him, and the Lord was like, you know, I know, but he's gonna have to suffer great things for my name. But go and tell him that the Lord is with him, pretty much, you know. And you know, Paul received his sight. You know, he got his sight back because in the spiritual, because it was like he was spiritually blinded. But once he woke up to the truth, you know, then that's when you got that eye salve back. You know, and it's the same thing with us. We were once spiritually blinded, but once YaHaWaShai gave us that eye salve, he allowed us to see, man. You know. But nonetheless, this is a 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, starting at verse 8. It says, he therefore that despiseth not man, but YaHaWaShai, who hath also given unto us his Holy Spirit, man. That's right. So if you hate the men of the Lord, if you're despising the men of YaHaWaShai, really, you're not just despising those men. You're despising YaHaWaShai, because those men are speaking the words of YaHaWaShai. Proverbs 29:27, an unjust man is abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. Right. So pretty much, like it says, an upright man is abomination to the wicked. Just like how the wicked are an abomination to a righteous man. What's that also in Sirach or Ecclesiastes chapter 33? Let's get that real quick. Salakia. So, you know, don't marvel if this world hates you, man. Don't wonder like, man, why everybody hate me? Who gives a shit? YaHaWaShai don't hate you. You know, the Lord love you. So that's all that really matters, man. Yeah, of course, nobody really wants to be hated per se. Of course, people want to be appreciated for the most part, you know. But if they hate you for a righteous reason, then hey, man, let it be. The Wadi MaShaYaCh. Okay, that shows you that the Lord is dealing with you, man. This is a Sirach, Ecclesiastes 33 and 14. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another, man. That's right. Okay? That's right. So that's the point right there. You know, good is set against evil, life against death, the godly against the sinner against the godly, man. It's a movie with the protagonist and the antagonist. The protagonist is Yahweh MaShaYaCh is righteous, okay? And the antagonist is the wicked. You know, that's the way it's set up. It's a thing of good versus evil. This is Sirach, Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 25. The parables of knowledge are in the treasures of wisdom, but godliness is an abomination to a sinner. That's right. What does Scripture say? Amos the 5th chapter, Amos 5 and 10. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. Right. So anybody who comes up against this truth and they're mad because you're pushing the righteous words, Yahweh MaShaYaCh, they ultimately hate Yahweh MaShaYaCh, man. You know, Isaiah 30 and 9, that this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to the seers, talking about the prophets. You know, 1 Samuel 9 and 9 tells you how a seer is known as a prophet. Which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. That's right. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear lies, man. You know, they want to hear sweet lies, okay? Instead of hearing the harsh, bitter truth of Yahweh MaShaYaCh, which will lead unto salvation. But no, they love destruction and perverseness, man. It says, get you out of the way, pretty much saying, like, get out of here. We don't want to hear what you have to say, right? Turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant, man. That's it. So you got people who literally say, oh, don't read out the book. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Guess what, man? That's not of the Lord. You know? And like the Lord said, the destruction is going to come upon them suddenly, man. You know? It says, verse 14, Isaiah 30 and 14, it says, he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it assured to take a fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. For thus saith the Lord, power, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall ye be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and ye would not. Right? Yahweh MaShaYaCh is getting ready to, you know, put his elect on a level, man. You know, give them peace, confidence, you know, salvation. But 2/3 would not, meaning they don't want that, man. They don't want to follow the ways of Yahweh MaShaYaCh. What does it say in Jeremiah 6 and 16? It's like it says, thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, as for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. Yeah, Jake don't want to adhere to this truth, man. And that's one thing. Here it is. Jake don't want to adhere to the truth. That's on them. But when you want to follow it, they want to come at you. You know? That's how they know deep down inside that that's really the right way. But they're just being so wicked, they try to come up against it and convince themselves that it's not, man. You know? Because if we're such whack jobs, why are they going so hard to shut us down? You know? It's just because that they're wicked, man. You know, and just like how they try to shut down the men of the Lord in the past. How told those scribes and Pharisees, you know, that they bear witness of themselves that they were those same men in the past who killed the prophets. When they said to themselves, oh, we wouldn't have been like our fathers who slew the prophets. Yahushua said, fill you the cup of your, basically the cup of your fathers, man. Fill you the measure of the cup of your fathers. Pretty much, you know, come back into that same lot you were in your past life. You was one of them same dudes persecuting the prophets in your past life, and look at you now, persecuting Yahushua, you know, when he came on the scene. So guess what? Those same wicked dudes are back persecuting Yahushua's men. in this time now. You know? And it says, read this again, Jeremiah 6:16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, right? Where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. Also I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken. That's what our people do. They don't want to hear the words of the Lord, man. You know, this is 2 Chronicles 36:16. It says, but they mocked the messengers of MaShaYaCh and despised his words and misused his prophets until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people till there was no remedy, man. Yeah, and that's what's going to come in these times, man. The destruction is going to come for Jake because they don't want to take heed to the words of MaShaYaCh. The scriptures speak about how they misuse the prophets. So because of your misuse of the prophets is going to lead to your destruction, since you didn't take heed to what the men of the Lord had to say. There was this one prophet that got raised up, and he went to one of the kings of Israel, you know, because the king of Israel, I'm not 100% sure which king it was, so Salakia, but basically he just got done slaughtering the Edomites, and then after that, he went and served their idol gods, you know, and the prophet was like, basically like, these same gods that couldn't deliver the people whom you just slew, why would you go and worship those same gods again? You know, but the king told him to forbear. You know, why should you be smitten, right? He's like, why should I put my hands on you? Did I make you of one of my counselors, right? Are you one of the king's counselors? And the prophet told him, look, I know it's of the Most High's will to destroy you because you hearken not unto my words. You misused the prophets. Also with Eli's sons, you know, the priest Eli, he rebuked his sons, you know, told them about their wickedness, about what they're doing. But it says how they hearken not because it was of the Most High to destroy them, or it was of the Most High to slay them, man. So, you know, when a person doesn't listen to the words of MaShaYaCh, they don't take heed, it's because the Lord is getting ready to judge them, man. You know, so he set you up to give them the warning, and then that judgment was going to follow after. You know, this is 1 Esdras 1:51. It says, but they had his messengers in derision, and look, when the Lord spake unto them, they made a sport of his prophets. So by you making a sport of the prophets, that's like you making a sport or making fun of MaShaYaCh, making light of MaShaYaCh. You know, Yahweh also spoke about the keepers of the vineyard, how they slew the prophets, and then it said how Yahweh was like the master of the vineyard sent his son, and they said, lo, this is the heir, let's slay him also. So that's what they did, man. They killed the prophets in the past, and they also killed MaShaYaCh, man, because of their wickedness, man. And they're getting ready to slay some of the men of the Lord again in these times. But guess what? The Lord's going to require all that blood, and they're going to get slayed. You know? This is 2 Esdras 8:55. It says, and therefore ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perished, for when they had taken liberty, they despised the Most High, thou scorn of his law, and forsook his ways. Moreover, they have trodden down his righteous. So, yeah, if people in the world hate you, this is a part of the scriptures, and said in their heart that there is no power, or that there is no God. Yea, and that knowing they must die. Okay, so that's the destruction is getting ready to come upon them, man. You know, because their misuse of the prophets. John 7:7, the world cannot hate you, but me it hateth, because I testify of it that the works thereof are evil. You see? John, I think I read this one already. John 17:14, this is Yahushua speaking. I have given them thy word, and the world hated them, and the world hath hated them. All right? Because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world, man. That's right. You know, so just like how Yahushua wasn't of the world, and we have this word of truth, guess what? You know, the world hates us just like they hate Yahushua, man. It's nothing new. Isaiah 59:15, yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey, and the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. Right, so for those who leave the ways of wickedness and follow after the paths of righteousness, they're as a prey unto the wicked, man. They're being hunted and persecuted of the wicked. But we pray to MaShaYaCh that the Lord continues to watch over us, man, and to deliver us from the wicked. You know, hide us from the wicked, man. from the workers of iniquity, man. You know, so I just wanted to do a lesson on that. All right. I'm sure there's so many more precepts you can get concerning this matter and this topic. But I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, MaShaYaCh, MaShaYaCh, honestly, apostle of this great most never will. Peace, blessed to the elect. Shalom, and a Baba Ball.